What the fuck is up, world? Piali Tlaltic Pak. We back in this bitch. Another podcast for that ass. Another Grito. Sea dicho. It's been about 3 motherfucking months now, dog, since my last episode. If you're still listening to this, as I've mentioned plenty of times before, you know I appreciate the fuck out of it. If you moved on, I understand full well. Whatever the case is, if you've moved on, obviously you're not hearing this because epistemic paradoxes and whatnot. But if you're still here, let's fucking go, dog. I've just been busy with life, dog. I'm sure you have been too. The fucking holidays that are upon us, you know what I mean? Shit gets crazy at the end of the semester. And then you got just the family commitments and shit leading up to the fucking, well, the day that this is released. The new year, dog, is gonna be released on the new year. You know what I'm saying? So you already know what it is. You know the deal. You lived through this shit with me. You know what I'm saying? You got that whole dead week. What happened is the semester ended for me personally at about during like the middle of December, and before that I got busy, dog. Like towards the end of the semester, like I said, shit just gets busy with work, and you know, mercifully, thankfully, I had a full course load basically this semester, and I just got caught up with fucking work and life shit, dog. You know what I mean? So from the last episode that I dropped, I kept saying like, I gotta drop a podcast, I gotta drop a body, you know what I mean? Because motherfuckers are gonna move on and you're gonna just forget about your boy. It's not what I was worried about, dog. What I was worried about is just for me personally, consistency. You know what I mean? Like just for me, it was just a matter of you gotta stay committed. You gotta, you know what I mean? Stay grounded. You gotta, to use the Heideggerian ideas, you have to fucking be committed, right? To the shit that you say to your life's projects. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that it took me 2 months to drop another one, I was like, fuck, dude. But it really was just because of, you know, just work. And, you know, again, I'm thankful for that. And, you know, to be fair, a lot of that is an excuse. I could have fucking easily done shit, you know what I mean, in between that. But, yeah, you know, a little bit of the creature of comfort just crept into my life. And whenever the weekends would roll around, I'd be like, dog, I'm fucking tired, bro. I want to just relax and just fucking mentally prepare myself for this next upcoming week of work because it's been a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So then, you know, you go from the 2 months-ish that I hadn't dropped a podcast during the semester up until the end of the semester. And then, you know, the semester ends around the fucking middle of December, like I said. But after that, I was tired, bro. I was like, fuck, I'm taking a break, bro. I'm fucking tired. Like just mentally, you know what I mean? From work, just so much from the work element. And I told myself, all right, cool, dog. I'm just going to take a break. And of course, a week from the 15th, it's fucking Christmas, dog. You know what I mean? So like Christmas week rolled around. And I was like, fuck, I guess just wait till next week, dog, because just with all the shit that you got to do to take care of Christmas from, you know, a material capitalist sense from my own family, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, we're already starting to have Christmas parties. I'm, you know, fortunate to be able to say that my robust, you know, personal, familial circles are, you know, are deep enough where the Christmas party started coming around and it was just like, fuck, you know, it's almost like one after another. And then you had the week between Christmas and New Year's, dog, which we all know basically proves that time is a construct because it's like not even real that whole week in between Christmas and New Year's, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I am today. I'm recording this bitch on New Year's Eve, right? And I'll be uploading it for you. You'll be able to listen to this shit on New Year's Day. Start the New Year's off with a podcast, right? That's what I said to myself. That'll be my fucking resolution. Start the fucking New Year off with a podcast, bitch, and then take it from there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like this week between Christmas and New Year's, it's just fucking, you know, it's a weird time, right? So I was just like, all right, man, fuck it. We're already balls deep into this whole fucking relaxation shit. Let's just fucking kick it one more week. And then when the new year fucking comes around, we're gonna hit the ground running. You know what I mean? So like even my gym shit, I only went to the gym like a couple of times last week, you know what I mean? And the week before that, because it's just like, all right, dog, chill. Like you go hard as fuck all year long towards this fucking weird imaginary time between fucking Christmas and New Year's, and just leading up to Christmas in general. December, it's such a weird month, dog. It's such a weird month for those y'all motherfuckers, you know, that celebrate Christmas here in America. I'm sure it's probably the same wherever the fuck it is you're listening to this. And I can't help but feel that it's not even because of fucking a Christmas, dog. It's like just this weird cycle that people go through and we get lulled into this fucking weird haze. And then, you know, like we're just on basically fucking zombie mode. If you're celebrating it here, like in America, the zombie mode is just like the capitalist frenzy of wanting to fucking live up to the, you know, the Christmas, the ideal Christmas that we've been sold and shit. You know what I mean? I read this great quote recently talking about how the Christians stole Christmas from the pagans, but the capitalists stole it from the Christians. You know what I mean? So it's just weird because it's like did they really steal like a arbitrary holiday that, or a whole arbitrary time of the year that we kind of just created ourselves, and then we work ourselves up into this fucking trance-like existence where it's the sole focus of our lives? Or this is what I was thinking: is it possible that it's just this weird cycle that humans go through, and that, you know, it just happens to coincide around this time, which is not outside of the realm of possibility. There's a reason we celebrate the winter solstice at that time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I was thinking, this is just a special time of the year period, dog, for, you know, humans in terms of like regeneration, regrowth, and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Renewal. And it comes with like this weird phase where we're shedding, quite literally. We're kind of shedding our old selves. You know what I mean? And we're fucking anticipating the birth of a new one with the, you know, coming of a new year. Whether you celebrate it through the Julian calendar or not, it's irrelevant, because it lines up basically around the same time. It's, again, that weird week between Christmas and fucking New Year's. You know what I mean? Where it's just around that time whenever the winter solstice is and fucking New Year's, right? For those of you who celebrate the Julian calendar, where it's just this weird cycle that we as humans go through. And it, you know, like, I got caught up in that shit. And so, yeah, that's why I was like, fuck it. I guess I'm not going to drop a podcast during this week either. You know what I mean? I'm going through my own fucking little cycle here, and to sit down and fucking, for me personally, I know there's lots of people out there who did. And you know what I mean? More power to them, right? But for me, I was just like, let's fucking go with this. Let's see where this fucking takes us, and, you know, just try to see what ideas we can formulate and develop as a result of it. And that's basically what this podcast is going to be. Just a quick little recap of some of the ideas that I had prior in the 2 months since my last podcast, but also in this weird ass fucking transitional week. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, dog, before we get into it, let's just get some of the formalities out of the way. If you haven't already, follow your boy, OG_IceNice13 on the gram. You can find me along similar lines on other fucking platforms, you know what I mean? But as I've mentioned multiple times before, I very seldom ever check those bitches, right? So, like, for sure on the gram, okay? For now, until, you know, hopefully I don't get zucked again. But if it were to happen again, I would just move the operation over to, I don't know, fucking YouTube or something. Who the fuck knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dog. So let's just get into it, dog. The one, I guess, like overarching metaphysical theme that I had been considering over these past couple of 2 months was the baseline. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I sat down and asked myself at one point, I forgot exactly what was going on. But I sat down and I asked myself, is it possible that I am perhaps really just nothing more than a fucking conspiratorial, you know, nut job? Is it possible that I'm just digging too deeply into shit that realistically it really is at the surface level? That, you know, it was because of a thick boy bat that, you know, everything that's happened in the last 2 years has happened in the last 2 years. And, you know, every other fucking, all the other things that I've said about it are just a result of fucking, you know, unhinged conspiratorial nonsense that's completely detached from reality. You know what I mean? And I just asked myself, you know, I got to question my own commitments. Like sometimes I get in this fucking rhythm and I'm like, this is what everything is. I fucking, you know, I understand now. This is what we're going to use to fucking, you know, interface with reality with moving forward. But, you know, we all do. We run the risk of becoming too headstrong in that and then being blinded by, you know, other truths that potentially emerge or that we're not allowing ourselves to see because we're so committed to this one idea. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, in this respect, it was that the conspiratorial shit. Like, is it possible that I am just in fact a fucking, again, unhinged conspiratorial nut job that's fucking completely detached from reality, as, you know, they tell us? And of course the answer is no, I am not that. You know what I mean? Like, no, dog, life is fucking crazy to begin with, okay? And we're living through some weird ass fucking times. And yes, we can choose to believe the narrative if it makes it, you know, it makes us feel better. But the reality is, like, to be willingly ignorant of how fucking strange of a time this is. It's always been strange. Humanity, existence in general, is weird as fuck. You know what I mean? But there's no doubt that we're going through some weird ass shit, and to be completely oblivious to that that's some willful ignorance at this point. You know what I'm saying? Moreover, I started realizing that realistically, again, what this hood philosophy shit is, it's nothing more than my own personal response to my experience with power, dog. Power in the philosophical sense. You know what I mean? That's what I stake my bread and butter on. That's what I say to myself. Like, there might be there are a million motherfuckers out there trying to teach the allegory of the cave, but ain't not one of them come from the hood like I did, right? From my hood, from my own personal barrio. There's plenty of fucking hoods out there in the world and plenty of philosophers that have come from them. I'm not trying to make myself sound fucking special in that respect. I'm just saying from my own fucking barrio, dog. One of one, homie. You know what I mean? At the time that I was born, more specifically. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta lean into that power. This is my unique contribution to fucking reality, to existence. And you have your own too. You know what I mean? You have your own for sure. Absolutely no. I have no doubt about that. Right? Whether you found it or not, complete different story. But the point that I'm trying to make is that like the importance from a phenomenological perspective to lean into our powers and recognize that, yes, bitch, I don't give a fuck what this Western world trying to tell me. This reductive scientific world trying to tell me about how I'm not special and how I'm nothing but a fucking speck of dust in an infinite universe. I don't give a fuck, bitch. I am special. And not in that fucking way that we're fucking brainwashed in elementary school to be like, oh, everybody's special. No, bitch, fuck you. I'm talking about in the sense that's like, yeah, dog, assuming reincarnation isn't fucking real, this experience that you have, that I have of consciousness, of reality, is uniquely my own. It's never existed in the scope of human history, in the scope of existence, period. And it will never exist ever again. Again, assuming reincarnation is not real, once I cease to be. So it's quite clear then that I am pretty fucking special in that respect. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I realized that, yeah, dog, you're not conspiratorial. You're not fucking unhinged. You're not detached from reality like these fucking Muppets want to brainwash you into believing, right? You are just fucking, me personally, I was thinking to myself here, right? But again, you too, I'm not trying to fucking gloat here and, suck myself off. I'm saying like we in general, but in this particular sense, I was thinking to myself in response to the whole conspiratorial thing is like, nah, dog, you have a unique experience. You were born in the fucking hood on a militarized, colonized borderland here with very real ramifications that had a direct impact on not only your life, but the lives of millions around here in this area. You know what I mean? And the way that my experience of reality was filtered was in such a way that it interacted with power in a way that made me in turn respond with a deeply, deeply critical lens. So that's what it is. And when motherfuckers be like, yo, you're a conspiracy theorist. Like, no, bitch, fuck you. Don't try to reduce and simplify the fucking complex existence that I fucking have gone through. I'm sure you've gone through it too, but you're clearly not reflecting on it deeply enough, because if you did, you probably wouldn't be coming at me with some bullshit about how this is conspiratorial. You would recognize like, yo, this is a weird ass shit that we're going through. And, we interact with not just other people, but institutions as well. Like institutions such as the government, these superstructures, the government, the fucking religion, all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Society, culture, man. Like we interact with this shit and fucking it has a direct impact on who we are and who we become, right? So that's kind of what my response was like, nah, dog, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just fucking I'm relaying to you my experience with power, right? Partly from surviving in the hood, but also importantly from understanding just a few of like the historical atrocities that this settler colonial government has committed against people like myself. And that's again where it comes into like leaning into the power, because how is a motherfucker up in the middle of fucking suburbia of Missouri is not going to understand what this is like? They could come here and try to observe us like, fucking the Nature Discovery Channel and shit. You know what I'm saying? But they'll never know what it's truly like. Right. And that's one of the things that pisses me off about, liberals and academics in general, is how they try to dismiss shit like this. And they're like, oh, that doesn't align with what we believe here in academia. And the answer is like, no shit, bitch. Academia is a colonial institution fucking that privileges suburban motherfuckers just like you. Of course it doesn't align with this. You have no idea what this world is like. Doesn't mean that the world that I'm speaking to you is fucking, not real or crazy or delusional or conspiratorial. It just means you're fucking sheltered and you don't have an understanding of reality of life from life from the perspective of someone like myself. And mine isn't even that crazy, dog. There's fucking people who have grown up, who lived their entire lives through, who are currently going through war-torn countries and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I can only begin to imagine what how those motherfuckers view reality. That must be some different shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not them and they're not me. So I can only speak on my behalf. You know what I'm saying? And on my behalf, it's further informed, just giving you a little bit of backdrop of myself, right? I'm sure if you've listened to his podcast long enough, you probably already have an idea. But it's deeply versed in not just philosophy, but history, dog. And I'm aware of like, the history of the conditions that led to where we are right here at this very moment, 2022, on the militarized, colonized border here in El Paso, Texas, where Title 42 was just lifted, and there's fucking our streets in downtown El Paso are flooded with our indigenous relatives from all across the Turtle Island right now, currently. You know what I'm saying? And I know exactly what it is that led this very situation to occur. It's just, the Indian problem, as I've talked about in my previous podcast, the quote unquote Indian problem. You know what I mean? So like, when you couple shit like that, when you couple it with the knowledge of shit like the history of genocide, slavery, human trafficking, medical experimentation that my folks have gone through. You know what I mean? That's my baseline. That's where I start from, dog. It's not unhinged conspiratorial bullshit. It's I have a fucking a baseline for reality that is so far removed from that which somebody who, you know, has lived their entire lives, a white person who's lived their entire lives in the suburbs, who have never had any sort of confrontation with the militarized colonized border here, will ever be able to fucking understand. They'll never be able to fucking, they can't even comprehend it, right? The best they can try to do is come down here and observe it, but they'll never truly know, dog, right? And for a lot of people, unfortunately, this in itself is already in the realm of quote unquote conspiracy, right? And I'm sure it's for a variety of reasons, dog, okay? When like the conspiracy part is when you try to tell them the government is trying to kill you, right? And they'll look at you like, oh, you're fucking just some right-wing Alex Jones InfoWars motherfucker. And it's like, no, bitch, don't reduce what I'm saying to just fucking flippant right-wing conservative bullshit. I'm telling you, because my peoples have experienced death at the hands of the United States government. They tried to exterminate all of us, okay? Still to this day, my people experience at the hand of the United States government. Fucking genocide, slavery, human trafficking, dog. Medical experimentation, all the women that they were fucking sterilizing here, the indigenous brown Mexican, if you will, if you want to, women that they were, euthanizing against their, even their knowledge, not even much less consent. You know what I mean? This is my baseline starting point, dog. And that's something that some fucking douche liberal fucking academic from, middle-class suburban Missouri will never be able to understand. They've never had to experience the hand of the United States government like that. So when you tell them shit like the government's trying to kill you, they just immediately dismiss it as they flippantly dismiss it as, conspiratorial nonsense. And it's like, no, bitch, again, don't reduce what I'm saying to something so simplistic, because this shit is deep, dog. This hood philosophy shit goes deep as fuck, right? It's not a matter of how deep I can go. It's about how deep you can fucking handle. That's what it boils down to. You know what I mean? I like to go slow, deep, and hard, homie. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it weird, right? Probably I meant to just a little bit, right? But let's recenter here for a little bit. Let's recenter here quickly, right? What I'm trying to say, dog, is that for a lot of people, this in and of itself, again, it's already in the realm of conspiracy. When you tell them the government's trying to kill you, dog, right? And again, I'm sure it's for a variety of reasons, okay? And for one, it's no doubt like the conditioning is so strong, dog. It's so strong, the conditioning, that most people sincerely believe this whole quote unquote Captain America land of the free because of the brave bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And two, it's what happens when you have this compulsory fucking pledging to the flag. Motherfuck all you Jordan Peterson stands that are so upset about fucking being, your compelled speech when it comes to people with preferred pronouns. Bitch, compelled speech is being forced to stand up every single fucking day and pledge allegiance to a fucking settler colonial government that's trying to kill you and fucking booing and hissing you if you don't do that. Like, that's compelled shit. Like, miss me with this bullshit, weak ass fucking liberal fucking, again, suburban nonsense like Jordan Peterson, dog. I mean, fuck about that. That's a made up argument for social media. Try fucking being compelled to pledge allegiance to the government that fucking actively has tried and is still trying to kill you and your people. Like, fuck you, dog. It's not the same thing, okay? Me and Jordan Peterson, we're not the same. I'll piss on that motherfucker, right? Anyways, the second reason is like the miseducation, dog. It's so rampant that a thorough understanding of the way, again, that we're shaped by historical forces, it's just unfortunately beyond the realm of many, dog. I realize, again, stepping into my power, you know what I mean? Not trying to front, just understanding and recognizing what it is. Yes, I was born intelligent. Okay, but more importantly, I understand that I was fortunate enough, not privileged, bitch, because I fucking had to grind through fucking college. Okay, I was bartending while I had a fucking degree from the University of Texas at Austin. And I was still bartending, dog, as I worked my way through master school. Okay, so miss me with this privilege bullshit, because it wasn't a privilege. I fucking worked hard for what I got. You know what I mean? But it was fortunate. It was fortunate that I was able to study the liberal arts and specifically philosophy. You know what I mean? And fortunate and still thankful as fuck that I was able to land a job in it, no less, because I understand how fucking privileged that has enabled me to be. And that because of that, it's given me the opportunity to fucking, think critically about the fucking way that it is that we're, that got us in this situation to begin with, which unfortunately it's not within the realm of reason for many peoples. And it's not because most people are fucking dumb. People in the hood are not dumb. You're not dumb. If you're listening to this, for sure, you're not fucking dumb, right? Unless you're a little alphabet soup fed boy who's listening to this trying to catch me up, then fuck you. You're a fucking idiot, right? But, yeah, dog, you're not dumb. Most people are not dumb. They're just, unfortunately, we're trying to survive. We're trying to survive in this motherfucking world. You know what I mean? And the ability to sit down and fucking actually research and read and, do all the knowledge and shit. I just told you, me, myself, I was tired as fuck just from work myself. You know what I mean? And reading, come get the fuck out of here, dog. I wasn't reading. I was just trying to survive my course load. You know what I mean? And then still try to live my family life and all that kind of shit, right? And then you fucking couple that with people who do like actual manual labor, for example. Like, come on, dog. They're going to come home tired as fuck. They still got to do their family thing. Like, there's very little time, right? Which, of course, is by design. But then on top of that, dog, it's, also on top of that, it's fucking the fact that we weren't even taught how to think correctly in, public school on purpose, of course, right? So it's like, trying to fucking hit a 350-pound squat without ever doing a squat lift before, without ever working in legs before. It's not going to fucking happen. It's just literally impossible, right? You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're working. You don't know how to fucking, what the proper form and technique is. And you know what I mean? And the same shit happens when it comes to thinking. That's realistically what a philosophy degree will teach us, dog. Like everything that we fucking read and all the shit that we learn, that's just an exercise to teach us how to think critically. You know what I mean? How to think, not correctly, but I would say critically. I will leave it at critically. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that we don't fucking do in public school. Like I survived public school. You survived public school. And I'm telling you, like, yeah, dog, I was a fucking moron coming out of public school. Because I didn't know how to think correctly, how to think critically. But, fortunate enough, I was able to go through, I was able to get the training necessary to be able to do so. In retrospect, I probably should have got training in something more practical, like how to fucking be a lawyer or a doctor, or how to, at the very least, fucking build a house. You know what I mean? But different subject for a different day. Because I could still do all that realistically, right? And the reason why I say that is because it's not what I'm trying to say is it's not an excuse. Like, yeah, dog, you want her to build a house? Fucking build a house. You got the information right here on the internet. And the same is true when it comes to people who are like, well, what am I supposed to do? I wasn't taught how to think critically in public school. Bitch, fuck you. You live in a technical era. You know what I mean? Like you have all the information of how to do so right there at the tip of your fucking thumbs. You're just choosing to fucking go to, social medias or porn sites and shit and fucking masturbate there instead of doing all the learning. And I know that because I do that all the time. And I'm like, nah, dog, you can't make an excuse. You know what I mean? Like if you're deficient in one particular respect, you can't sit here and just be like, oh, it's the government, dog. The government didn't teach me how to build houses. They didn't teach me how to do my taxes. They didn't teach me how to think critically. Bitch, it's fucking, again, 2020, it's about to be 2022. It's 2023. By the time you get this, it'll be 2023. It's not an excuse, right, to just rely solely on the government to educate you. And if you've done so, you've already fucked up, like simple and plain, dog, because you know what I mean? Of course, they're not going to educate you in a way that's going to be conducive to your fucking interest. They'll only miseducate us in ways that are conducive to their interest, right? So that's what I mean as to why people immediately dismiss the shit that I have to say as conspiratorial, because it's deep. I know it's deep. It's heavy as fuck. You know what I mean? And it's deeply informed by fucking theory. And most people, unfortunately don't have that fucking ability to sit down and read theory, how to learn how to think critically, like, from a philosophical perspective. And it's easier to just dismiss it, right, if you don't agree with it, then have to actually engage with it and potentially consider that what I'm having to say is actually pretty fucking relevant. You know what I mean? So that's where the miseducation element comes into play. And then 3, dog, and perhaps honestly, most importantly, this is the white pill, if you will. It's all the black pill nonsense, right? And that is that I sincerely do, dog. I fucking to my core believe that for most people, the idea that others could be so utterly cruel as to medically experiment on people in fucking literally less than fucking 40. They're still doing it today, dog. Right? But the most famous example was in the 1970s here, like on the borderland. And for most people, they're sincerely, most people, dog, I'm convinced, are sincerely pure people. Like, we all have our faults, you know what I mean? But we come from a good place. And the idea that somebody could be so utterly cruel as to remove the reproductive organ of a woman for no other reason, against her consent and against her even knowing her knowledge, right? But for no other reason than you don't want her to have more brown children, right? This is something that for most people, it's so utterly cruel that it's beyond the realm of their comprehension, dog. And the white pill part is because honestly, hand to fucking, whatever. I think that's beautiful, dog. I think that's fucking beautiful, right? Because in a way, it gives me like this invigorated sense of hope for humanity, right? When people dismiss the shit that I'm telling them, even though it's fucking true beyond any fucking doubt, and they still don't want to fucking believe it. You know what I mean? Like, in a weird way, it gives me hope for humanity, because, you know, for all the reasons I just listed, that when you talk to them about like Hillary Clinton, for example, it harkens images of their grandmothers, I'm sure. And they could never imagine their grandmother potentially being as cruel as a fucking politician, right? Hillary Clinton, it doesn't matter. Let's not even get into the conspiracy shit. Just as a politician, the fucking, you know, she's at that very highest form, dog. She ran for the president of the United States of America. You have blood on your hands. And, you know, like, it is what it is, dog. You want to break an omelet, you got to mix it. You want to make an omelet, you got to break an eggs type shit. Whatever. You got to break some eggs type shit. I get it, right? But you got blood on your hands, okay? And when you tell this to people and they see an image of Hillary Clinton and they associate that with the only elderly woman they potentially know, and they think to themselves, there's no way she could do that, because my grandmother would never do that, or I would never do that. And that's pure to me, dog. That's like a pure innocence that has to be protected at all costs. You know what I mean? Because it's there where the hope for humanity, for me personally, lies, dog. It gives me an invigorated sense of hope for humanity, right? And then, because it's like, just think about it, bro. Every time we're told to imagine an end of world scenario, it's always in like the most primal manner possible, okay? It's always in the absolute worst case scenario imaginable. And while I'm certain a bit of that would exist, I'm not convinced that the caring, compassionate side of humanity is just going to utterly be fucking eliminated because, you know, the grid shut down or society fell apart, as, you know, we're led to believe. And it may very well be that in the end, that right there, dog, is in and of itself a psyop that's designed to keep us in line, if you will, right? And ensure that we don't act out in a way that goes against the established order out of fear for our physical safety. You better fucking go to work 9 to 5. You better pay your fucking taxes. You better do exactly as we fucking tell you. Because if not, this whole fucking society, this good thing that we got going on, is going to come crumbling down. And you don't want that. Because at the base level, humans are intrinsically evil. You, other people like around you, your own family, your best friends that you've known your entire life, they're intrinsically evil. And if society were to crumble and our power was to be jeopardized in any way, they're going to turn primal, and you're going to have to fear for your physical safety. And you don't want to have to fear for your physical safety, do you? And it's just like that idea, dog, that idea is just bludgeoned into us, bro. It's that whole human nature is nasty, brutish, and short shit from fucking Thomas Hobbes, right? That's so prominent in philosophy when we're discussing the social contract theory, which, like, in retrospect, that should be a giant red flag. Hobbes lived to be fucking almost 80 years old, dog, and he lived a wealth of fucking in the lap of luxury. Why the fuck are we listening to this motherfucker talk about, you know, human nature being nasty, brutish, and short? On top of that, we already know academia is the fucking intellectual arm of the reptilians, dog. So we should always be skeptical of whatever the fuck it is they're teaching us. And if they're teaching us that human nature is nasty, brutish, and short, that humans are allegedly intrinsically fucking evil, maybe we should look and ask ourselves, like, well, why are they teaching us that? Is it possible that this is exactly what the situation is? Or is it further possible that they're just saying that to keep me fucking paralyzed in fear, from revolting against any established order that they've maintained? Because, you know, I'll think to myself, oh, I have to worry about now my neighbors that I've known my entire life, my family and friends that I've grown to love, and fear that they're going to suddenly turn on me just because the fucking lights go out. Like, is that really what's happening, dog? Or is it possible that humans are intrinsically fucking pure? The vast majority of humans, irrespective of their ethnicity, irrespective of their sexual orientation, their religious beliefs, all that other divisive shit, like, doesn't matter. None of that matters. At the core, most people are intrinsically pure. It's fucked up that it only takes 1% to fuck everything up for the rest of us. But again, that's because of how pure I believe humans truly are, right? Now, don't get me wrong, dog. I'm not trying to be fucking idealistic and shit. I know for a fact there always has been and there always will be an element of that will always exist, dog. Okay? That Hobbesian human nature shit. Of course, it's always existed, dog. Right? And to argue otherwise would be contradictory on my end. Why? Because again, like I've already mentioned, I've had experience with that side of humanity. I have fucking still to this day. I could drive 5 minutes from my house, 15 minutes from my house, and see firsthand the human nature being fucking exercised in its most nasty, brutish, and short manner. When you see a very powerful fucking creature like the United States government treating other people like fucking animals, basically, for no reason, then one is more powerful than the other, and the other can't do nothing to stop it. Like, that's basically what it boils down to, dog. Right? So I see it. I'm not dumb and I'm not naive, dog. But what I'm trying to say is that just because it's gone down this way in the past doesn't mean that that's how it's going to continue to do so for all of human existence. Okay. And furthermore, it doesn't mean that it's fucking that human history, the history that we're taught and shit and, academia is all inclusive. Right? Again, that ain't nothing more, dog, than the story that we've been told to have us believe that we are these primal nasty beasts. Okay. But again, it conveniently leaves out these incredible feats of love, sympathy, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, mercy, kindness, and so on that we're capable of. You know what I'm saying? All of which unquestionably, without a fucking doubt, existed at the exact same time that all the horror stories were told that led us to our modern era fucking occurred. They just don't make the fucking history books because people don't want to, for whatever reason, they don't want us to know about fucking seemingly inhuman acts of kindness, right? Or just general goodwill towards others. You know what I mean? And again, part of that is it's the power, dog. It's the powers that be. You know what I mean? They just exercise this in the most fucking ruthless and brutal form. And, the development of this country, it's no different, dog. It's no different. Right? And it's so deeply embedded that it fucking fights tooth and claw, dog, to try to stay alive. You know what I mean? It really is like a fucking, in my perspective, dog, the way I see it, it's like a demon, bro. Like, for real, straight up. It's a fucking demon that's just sucking the vitality out of the human fucking spirit. But humans were so powerful that just collectively, dog, we're so powerful that we fucking just continue to revolt and fight against it, even though it's draining our battery. Like, it's just so infinite. It's, for lack of a better fucking, word, it's like godlike in a way that it cannot be vanquished no matter how fucking hard they try, dog. You know what I'm saying? And that gives me hope. That gives me hope for the future. One of the ways that this fucking vampire, if you will, that's fucking sunk in its grips into it's manifested itself, I should say, in the form of the United States of America tries to stay alive, that I was just recently introduced to, dog, was it's this relationship between the United States government and mercenary forces around just that the United States government fucking contracts, basically. They train and contract. And they don't do that. They don't do this here just in El Paso, in America, dog. They do it all around the world. This isn't conspiratorial. Like, just fucking go read a book. You know what I mean? Talking about all the CIA coups and shit that have occurred in the last almost 150 years. You know what I mean? Like, this is what they do. This is their shit, right? They fucking train mercenary groups to go off and enact the justice that the United States government cannot do because of fucking treaty and shit. You know what I mean? Because of international law, because of politicking, basically. It doesn't mean that they don't want it to get done, and they do it by way of mercenary groups, right? And just one of the many, dog, just one of the many that I was recently introduced to was the Mayoral Civilian Assistance Group, dog, and its relationship with the United States Army, specifically with the 20th Special Forces Group, dog. And basically what happens is, the basic idea is that this fucking mercenary group has been designed to keep America afloat should something happen to the institutional powers like the government, the military, etc. Were they to come, collapse, there's still, a small contingent that remains that is able to fucking ensure that the ideals that this fucking country was predicated on endure and, are able to be reestablished once more. Okay. And, this is where the relationship between the 20th Special Forces Group, right, and the mayoral group come into play. Now, this is just like a quick little summary, dog, but just by way of like quick introduction, the 20th Special Forces Group, it's one of two Army National Guard group, the Army Special Forces, right? And they tell us that they're, designed to deploy and execute 9 doctrinal missions. Dude, what's up with my words? My bad, dog. Missions, okay? They include government or unconventional warfare, foreign international defense, direct action. So like small scale raids, ambushes, and sabotage, right? Counterinsurgency, special reconnaissance, counterterrorism, information operations, counter-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, and security force assistance. That's what this 20th Special Forces is supposed to do, right? And they're headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama, which, by the way, is only 100 miles south of Huntsville, Alabama, which for those of you who know what's up, you'll know that that is the infamous fucking adopted homeland of the Nazi war criminal Werner von Braun, the fucking head of NASA, right? Just 100 miles south of that is the 20th. There's something weird about Alabama, dog. There's some weird shit happening in Alabama, right? This is not new. I'm not just fucking connect. Like, there's a lot of stories that's already out there if you're interested that talk about just how fucking weird Alabama and Ohio, right? Which is weird that they're always like really good college football teams. Just further indication. Wherever there's a good college football team, dog, chances are there's some weird fucking shit going on in that state, in that area in general, okay? Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio, right? California. There's shit happening there. And for whatever reason, it always happens to coincide with fucking really good college football programs. Again, not a new idea. Plenty of stories out there that already talk about this. And if you're interested, right, feel free to go look those up. But all I'm saying is that Alabama, there's something weird happening in Alabama. We've known this through, through the founding of the NASA program, right? And then just now with the 20th Special Forces Group, dog. And just the role that they play and more specifically where their area of focus is. And it's Central and South America and the Caribbean, right? And, to be fair, if you're like buying into the whole military industrial complex fucking propaganda, you could say that, well, that sounds innocent enough, right? But you at least consider one of two things, dog. The first of which being, who and what gives these agencies fucking authority to do this in the first place, right? It's like power is not real. It doesn't exist in the fucking world. It's not a fucking tool that can just be fucking grabbed and fucking utilized like a hammer. You know what I mean? It's this fucking weird, intangible thing. And people just lay claim to it and they say, we have the power, so we're going to tell you what the fuck to do. That's basically what happens with the militaries. It doesn't matter what military it is, whether it's the United States, China, it doesn't fucking matter. They all operate off the same principle. And you ask yourself like, bitch, what the fuck? Who gave you the authority to do this? God? What God? Like, what are you talking about? Which God? There's so many gods. And you're going to tell me God gave you the authority to be the fucking, the military force of the world, right? It's just nothing more, dog, than a group of fucking people, a select group of people who are, enacting their will under the abstract veil the veil of abstract principles like freedom and national security and justice and so on, dog, right? And then the second thing you realize is, this really ain't shit more than fucking doublespeak for we are the ones who will be providing you the weapons, drugs, and freedom to these parts of the world, and we will kill you if you try to stop us. That's basically what I fucking see when I read shit like that. You know what I mean? Anyways, so how this relates is from there, we get what is, again, the Civilian Mayoral Assistance Group, right? And again, you fucking do with this information what you may, okay? I'm not saying what I'm saying is right. This is me trying to fucking avoid the blinders, right? I'm just saying I found it really fucking weird, dog, okay? And basically, it's this fucking... It's a group of mercenaries, dog. They will refute this claim or this fucking allegation, but you read it to me, you're like, oh, these are clearly fucking mercenaries, right? What they will say though is that they are a group of patriots who are headquartered in, surprise, surprise, Birmingham, Alabama. Again, and they've long been accused of being mercenaries, partly because they have a lot of former 20th fucking the previous Special Forces group I just told you, right? The group itself, dog, it was founded by this guy named Tom Posey, right? He's a retired Marine. And he did it this is his own words, as an alternative to joining the Klan, right? And their stated mission, dog, is to stop communists and other quote unquote undesirables who assault the political and geographic sanctity of the United States. It's the fucking United States government, dog. They're doing what they got to do to fucking ensure they get to stay alive, right? It's the fucking demon doing what it does to survive, right? And they have a weird fucking history, dog, these motherfuckers. One of their more famous shit is like they're very, they're basically like fucking vigilante border patrol agents, right? And they had like this whole story where they actually went into Mexico and kidnapped people at gunpoint right? 19 of them did. And they fucking faced absolutely no repercussions at all whatsoever, which is shocking to the fucking suburban liberals and the academics who come from there, right? Because they like to think to themselves, the United States government would never do that, right? Doesn't matter all the shit about whiteness they speak, they would refuse to still believe that the United States government would do this. But people like me will be like, well, yeah, that sounds about right. You're telling me the United States government that did shit like create the Texas Rangers to kill fucking indigenous peoples that they called Mexicans, just for the sole purpose of removing them from their homelands here in what is now referred to as Texas. You mean that government would fucking not prosecute people who went into Mexico, fucking extrajudicially, right? And then brought people back, kidnapped them, and you know what I mean, at gunpoint no less, and would still not prosecute them? No, they would never do that, right? The point is, dog, is like, they're clearly enacting the will of the government, right? But they can't be held accountable in the same way the United States government can because, well, they're vigilantes, they're mercenaries, right? And it's, it's funny because this same group of people, they were found to be two members of the fucking CMA or whatever, the mayoral group. They were found dead in, South America because there was a helicopter that was shot down during the Contra Costa scandal, right? So when the CIA was funneling drugs through the inner community to fucking fund their black ops wars down in Central America to fucking overthrow democratically and peacefully elected politicians and replace them instead with fucking their own handpicked selected paramilitary death squads. Yeah, during all that, this fucking group here, two of their fucking peoples were shot down and fucking killed in a helicopter crash, right? By the people who were trying to defend the democratically elected governments in Nicaragua, because they were trying to go to arm the fucking rebels, dog, the fucking paramilitary death squads, right? So it's like, bitch, are you sure these motherfuckers aren't connected? The United States government, the 20 special forces, and this fucking mayoral group? Or is it possible that that's exactly what it is? It's just operating under a different name in a way to ensure that people like, the liberals that I keep talking about from the suburbs don't fucking connect the dots or are incapable of connecting the dots, right? Because Captain America and shit, right? In order for the United States government to keep doing what it does. And it's like, yeah, dog, that's exactly what's happening, right? And again, this isn't a conspiracy. This isn't a conspiracy. You could fucking chase the paper trail, dog. It's right there, right? And again, for me, that's my baseline. That's where I start off at. I don't work my way up to there. I start from there, like saying, yup, don't put that shit at all past the United States government. For sure they did that, okay? And then we just work our way up from there, right? And again, for many, suggesting this alone, just suggesting this, dog, is it's conspiratorial. Because again, they're trying to uphold this myth of this Captain America nation that's a defender of freedom and justice. But it's quite clearly not the case, dog. That what we really have is we had a bunch of white supremacists come here, right, 500 years ago, and they've been systematically waging war against us indigenous inhabitants, right, through a myriad of ways. Some of which are sanctioned, such as the state, right, the government, schools, popular culture, and others aren't, like this fucking civilian mayoral group, dog. And often they fucking work in tandem to ensure that their aims are met. So, when I say that Nazis started on Turtle Island, I'm not fucking being hyperbolic, dog. I'm not being gratuitous, and I'm fucking certainly not being conspiratorial. I'm telling you straight the fuck up that the Nazis, they are here. They have been here. And that people like myself, certainly, to a lesser extent than my ancestors and others who are still enduring it, but we've endured it nonetheless, dog. We've endured their bullshit for the entirety of our lives. And then if you dismiss this as conspiratorial, you're not doing anyone any favors, dog, other than these people, dog, right? And at least for me personally, that makes you just as guilty of erasure that the fucking progressive liberals are so hard up on. Because I'm trying to tell you, and you're fucking ignoring it and dismissing it as conspiratorial. It's upsetting. The evidence is there, dog. You just, you have to look it up, right? For me personally, I would suggest that you start with this one book. I just started it and it's already like, yeah, this is not shocking to me. Yes, I know this, okay? But it's nice to get the information nonetheless. It's called Dope Inc., Britain's Opium War Against the World, right? And it fucking details exactly like most of the shit that I'm talking about. I'm gonna do an analysis on it, so I'll get that information to you in the time being. But the basic gist is, yes, everything I just told you. White people came here, They've been fucking waging war against the indigenous peoples here and against the world abroad since then, basically, in a myriad of ways. And the drug trade is just one of them. And yeah, I guess that's about as good a time as any to go ahead and wrap this bitch up. The video component of my fucking of my podcast this time, I'm so out of practice that I forgot to charge my camera, so the video is gone anyways at this point, right? For those of you who are listening to on audio only. So rather than just for the people who do like listening to or watching it on YouTube, rather than just bludgeon them with an icon picture, I'll go ahead and wrap this bitch up. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.